Welcome to City Roundup, brought to you by the City of Pensacola, with your host, Saida Rosa. City Roundup is your one-stop shop for everything having to do with the City of Pensacola. And now, Saida.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of City Roundup. I'm your host, Saida Rosa with the City of Pensacola. The 4th of July holiday is coming up, and here at the City, we wanted to take the time to remind you about closures and city services that will be changed because of the holiday. City Hall will be closed on Thursday, July 4th. City residents who normally receive trash service on Thursday will have their bins emptied on Wednesday, July 3rd. So make sure to have your bins curbside that morning. We hope you have a great and safe night celebrating. It's summer, and that means outside events are in full swing. Tonya, Vaden, and John Scanlon host this week's news show from Hunter Amphitheater at Community Maritime Park to tell us about upcoming events you can enjoy there. They also fill us in on a recent retirement and give us a rundown of upcoming events.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of our City News Show. I'm your host, Tonya Vaden.
And I'm John Scanlon, and we're at Hunter Amphitheater and Community Maritime Park because now that summer is here, this stage is about to get busy.
Our summertime shows include Blues on the Bay, Movies in the Park, and a special event for the 4th of July. Blues Angel Music, Blues on the Bay is a free concert series that happens on select Sundays each month. This past weekend, we had Civilized Natives performing favorite rock hits. Next month, we will have The Truth featuring Cat Rhodes. Show is on July 7th and starts at 6 p.m. Bring your lawn chairs and the coldest drink you can find. We also host the Hill Kelly Movies in the Park series. We show a different movie each month from May to August. On July 19th, we'll have Avengers Infinity War. It is rated PG-13, so parents will need to use their discretion. The movie starts when the sun goes down. Come 4th of July, the Pensacola Symphony Orchestra will take over the stage for the annual Symphony Sparks and Stars event. This is a free, family-friendly night of patriotic music. It's put on by Levin Papantonio and Peter Mouget. The show starts at 6 p.m., but arrive early to get your seat.
Pensacola Police Department celebrated K-9 Officer Giannis' retirement on Tuesday, June 18th. The K-9 was recognized for more than 5 years of service to PPD and the citizens of Pensacola. The ceremony was complete with a Puppy Safe Cake, Service Award, and an incident report detailing Giannis' achievements while serving as a K-9 officer. During his career, Giannis had 750 deployments with 35 suspect fines and 500 narcotic fines. He also located 9 firearms during article searches and helped seize over $250,000 in illicit money. Known for his friendly demeanor, K-9 Giannis was featured in numerous PPD outreach events, interacting with the public in a way that positively impacted the community and the department. K-9 Giannis has been released to his handler, Officer James Parsons, who will ensure Giannis is well taken care of and fulfilled during his retirement.
Speaking of PPD, they will be working with Pensacola Fire Department to represent the city in this year's donut strike for Manna. The strike runs June 26th to June 28th. During the donut strike, first responders in Escambia County have vowed to not devour a single donut until 20,000 pounds of food have been donated to fight hunger in the local area. Look for first responders in local grocery stores. You can also drop off food at Manna's Food Building at 3030 Northeast Street from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Pensacola Fire Department added another 2 firefighters to their team. We'd like to congratulate firefighter Zane George and firefighter Tavares Wiggins on their promotion from Fire Cadets. Thank you for choosing to serve Pensacola.
But before we go, summer camps with Parks and Recreation are in full swing, and we have another exciting opportunity for your child to get outside and have some fun in the sun. Join us for Beach Party Dance Camp at Gull Point Resource Center, July 15th through the 19th. Looking to fill the rest of the summer with fun-filled field trips, swimming, arts and crafts, and more? There's still space available in our day camps too. Locations include Cobb Resource Center, Fricka Resource Center, Gull Point Resource Center, and Woodland Heights Resource Center. You can register at webtrack.cityofpensacola.com. Lastly, don't forget there's still one more session of the Chip Bows Championship Basketball Camp coming up July 15th through the 19th. The cost is $85 per child, and sibling discounts are available. Visit www.chipbows.blogspot.com for more information.
That's all we have for you on this episode of Our City News Show. We thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Meet Kristy Wilson. Kristy has served as a city nurse for the past 18 years, but her healthcare career goes back almost 3 decades. Kristy provides care for the nearly 800 people who are part of the City of Pensacola team. In this episode of City Spotlight, Kristy tells us about her responsibilities and her favorite part of the job.
I have a family member that was an ICU nurse. She's retired now, but one day she just said to me when I was so undecided about what I wanted to do, you probably would make a really good nurse. I've been at the city for 18 wonderful years, so I thought I might just check your blood pressure. I get a chance to meet so many people here. There are over 800 employees, and they come to me for a variety of reasons, and just getting to know them and being able to do stuff for them, it's just a rewarding opportunity. I just have a real compassion for people and wanting to do stuff for people, to help people. If I'm able to help one person, then that makes a difference to me. If somebody gets injured on a job, they come here to see me, and I will do first aid or provide medical care. And I also have about 50 nursing students who come through here for a clinical experience with Pensacola Christian College. I just give them the opportunity to learn what occupational health nursing is like. I provide an annual health fair for the employees. It's a busy job, and sometimes it can be very challenging, and I have to be resourceful, but I enjoy it. It's great to help people. I hope to keep working here and doing a really good job for the city and being a benefit to the employees and an asset to the city.
For more episodes of our City Spotlight and News Show, visit our YouTube channel. Search City of Pensacola. We'll be right back after this.
Natural gas homes are in demand. Here's what home builders have to say.
One of the major roles of us using the tankless water heaters and gas cooktops is because of trying to utilize energy efficient features in our homes. Without reservation, our owners that have moved into a home where we use this natural gas have always been happy that we've used this and very satisfied with the product.
Natural gas from Pensacola Energy, the clean, reliable, earth-friendly choice.
Heat pumps don't pump much heat. In fact, heat from an efficient natural gas heater can be 30% warmer, and you can get up to an $800 rebate when you install one. Warming up to natural gas yet? Learn more at PensacolaEnergy.com.
We now turn to our green tip of the week. When purchasing coffee, look for the USDA certified organic label. Certified coffee means it's grown using sustainable standards. The city is looking for great people to be a part of our team. We're currently hiring fire cadets. This is an entry-level position for those who are interested in a career in the fire service. Learn more and apply online at PensacolaCityJobs.com. Some food for thought for your Friday. In this episode of Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, host John Scanlon from Pensacola Energy and Chef Brian from Kingfisher shows us how to make cheese grits.
On this episode of Coastal Cooking Presents Quick Bites, we have cheese grits from Kingfisher. Stick around and find out how it's done.
Welcome to Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, brought to you by Pensacola Energy.
Hey, welcome to Coastal Cooking Presents Quick Bites. I'm your host, John Scanlon, and we're joined today in the kitchen by a very special guest, Chef Brian from Kingfisher. Brian, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
So this is actually one part of a 3-part Kingfisher trilogy. We're making a Kingfisher platter here. And in the other episodes, we have coleslaw and we have fried mullet. What are you making in this one?
We're making cheese grits.
A staple. And you do yours, what makes yours different? We're looking at some of these ingredients and we talked about it. You're going to make something special before you even put it in there. Is that correct?
Yeah. We're going to do it just the way I like to do it. You're right, it is a staple. I think one of the quintessential dishes that we serve is mullet with cheese grits and maybe baked beans or maybe coleslaw, whatever you like. But yeah, we try to take it, to the Kingfisher level by using some really nice grits from C&D Mill in town here. Ground, you can find them at the farmer's market. And also making our own cheese sauce from scratch.
And you called it a roux. And I love that. I love having a roux.
You love having a roux?
Inside, in cheese grits. That's just awesome. I can't wait.
And in addition to making a roux, we'll also be throw a couple more French terms out there. We'll be making a bechamel sauce, which is a French mother sauce. And then by adding cheese, it turns into a sauce called a Mornay.
I'm going to let you say all those because I can't.
So it's roux, bechamel, and Mornay. So They're all going to be in one sauce. It sounds like a lot, but it's actually pretty simple.
Excellent. Well, I can't wait to see it.
Cool. I'll show you. Many recipes, as last time we said, many recipes start with an egg yolk. This one is also starting with the onion, which is a base for a lot of really good recipes too. I have an onion peeled here, and we're just making a small amount today. So I'm just going to start with a quarter of a yellow onion or a Spanish onion. Give it a little dice.
You make that look so effortless.
Well, just give yourself a couple 50-pound bags and you can practice. So I'm going to put that in there. So what we have there is about 2 teaspoons of just vegetable oil, or I'm using canola oil. You could use something else, but it's just something to get the heat moving throughout the sauce there, or throughout the onions. So what we're doing is sweating the onions here. The pan was already on low for a minute, so it's already starting to cook. And just like we added the salt and pepper in with the egg, when you start the recipe, add a little bit of salt and pepper in with the onion there. And then what I have here is some boiling water, and we're going to start our grits. For the sake of time, I'm actually using the C&D cornmeal. Mm-hmm. At the restaurant, we use their grits. And if you're going to use their grits, which I recommend that you do, you want to wash them off real well, because it's an old-fashioned type of grit, and they come with the husk on them. So if you wash them really, really, really well, then you'll have a nice smooth grit at the end. But the way you do that is you just put them in a pot and run the water over them, and you'll see the husks come to the top. Okay. And they'll run over the edge of the pot, and then the grit, the yellow golden grit part, it's like panning for gold, is at the bottom there, and that's what you can use. But I'm using their cornmeal, which is comes from the same corn product, but we use this in our hush puppies and stuff. But essentially we're making it like a polenta here with the cornmeal, which is also kind of nice, and it's just a lot faster. Whereas the grits take 5 or 6 hours to cook at the restaurant, this will be ready here in just a few minutes, which is good. I don't want it to be too thick, but usually when you do grits, or I would say polenta, it's about a 1-to-4 ratio. So right here we have about a half a cup of cornmeal or grits if you're using it, and about 2 cups of water. So if you bring it to a boil first, you're going to save some time, because it's already hot and they're going to start cooking right away.
In today's day and age, 5 hours for grits is almost unheard of.
Yeah, it's weird, These grits take longer to cook than some of the other ones, but the finished product, I love it, and it's a local product, and the family that owns it is really cool.
I mean, that just kind of goes to the care that you have at your restaurant. Like we talked in the other episodes where, you homemade dressings, you have homemade hot sauces, your grits are from scratch, they're local. It's that's pretty nice. I mean, all around, you know what you're going to get, so.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think people taste it and they notice the difference. Mm-hmm. Some people say, "Oh, this tastes like I used to have back when my mom or my grandmother was cooking." And to me, that's a really good compliment.
Absolutely. I think my kids would yell at me if it took more than 2 minutes to microwave some grits. So that, right? I don't know how to make 5-hour grits, but I love to eat them. And so
so start in the afternoon before, and then you can have them for breakfast the next morning. So our cheese sauce also has a little bit of garlic. So I just put a little chop on that. Throw that in there with the onions, and that's going to start cooking. And then what we can do now is add more butter than you normally would, because this is going to be part of our roux. I think that's enough, actually. So I have a quarter onion, half a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. And then I have about a quarter stick of butter there, which is like an 1/8 of a pound or something like that, but a quarter stick of butter is good. I would say, if you're using butter sticks. If not, I would say it's probably about a half a cup, or a third of a cup of butter there. And that's stirring. So you don't have to measure everything so much every time you do it with these kind of recipes. If you're baking, you do, but if you're making a roux,
that's where some of the fun comes in when you're cooking at your house, is you're making it your own. I mean,
I think so. You know, maybe you like it with a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. You know, I like to put mustard powder in my bechamel. Some other people like to do that too, but I'm all about it. So maybe you have to find what you like in your bechamel. You know, maybe it's extra cayenne, maybe it's a little cayenne, maybe it's a little, you know, like we have our little celery seed in our coleslaw. It's just a little something to kind of make it your own.
Absolutely, a little signature to it.
So now that we have the butter, we want to actually add the same amount of flour that we did with the butter. So if we had about 1/3 of a cup of butter, then we can just add 1/3 of a cup of flour here. And that's going to be our roux. So roux, all it is fat and flour. The fat here is butter. If you're making a gumbo roux, you know, you cook it for a long time until it turns dark. This one, we're not going to worry about doing that. We're just going to go in and add all the milk here, which is a cup of milk. And what you want to do is just really whisk it. And
you added that milk. You can really smell it. That's just it's stirring up all that garlic. That smells really good.
It does, yeah. Milk smells good, and also I think the grits when they're cooking smells good too. It gives a nice sweet flavor on the grits. I don't know if you can smell. It's one of my favorite smells.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I didn't know what you were talking about until I smelled it. I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So this looks pretty watery right now. And that's okay, because once it comes up to a simmer, then the magic is going to happen and it's going to thicken right then when the flour cooks. And
so you're just going to stir that until it thickens a little bit, and then...
Yeah, I'm going to stir this until it thickens all the way, and then I'm going to turn the heat all the way down and cook it a little bit more.
So this isn't something you can turn on, go check out what's on TV. You need to...
Yeah, this is going to... If you walk away from this, you're going to be scrubbing a pot later. And it's happened to the best of us. But yes, or you could turn it down. You could, if you weren't in a hurry, you could turn it down and come back every once in a while. But now, you know.
I just know burning a roux is, it's punishable in my family. So.
Right. And this is starting to look like sausage gravy, which essentially, if you use sausage instead of butter, it would be your white gravy. You know, it's that easy to make. This is really thick, which is good.
So you're doing cheese grits with basically a sausage gravy in it. This is like the most southern food.
I know.
I cannot wait. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. Except we're going to hold back on the sausage for now. It will be vegetarian, but it's just, you know, if you wanted to go there, you could. Mustard powder. That's just about a 1/4 teaspoon. It doesn't need a lot. Just because I really like it doesn't mean you need to put a lot in there. This is our house seasoning. Black. It's not really a secret. Black, white, red pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, chili powder. It's like a Cajun seasoning. We like to make it in-house because we can use it in all these recipes, but we can also use it as a blackening spice without worrying about it getting so salty. Because some of the pre-made blackening spices are a little too salty for that.
Absolutely.
In my opinion. I'm just going to use the back of the spoon here to measure out about 1/2 teaspoon of our house seasoning, or, you know, if you wanted to use your favorite Cajun seasoning there, you could just reduce this. If it has salt in it, just reduce the salt a little bit there. And you can easily adjust for the recipe. Just when you use the things like Old Bay and Cajun seasonings, just check the label. And if the first ingredient is salt, then make sure that you reduce the amount of salt that you add other places in the recipe. Would be my recommendation. So now that bechamel is really thick, this is the sauce called bechamel. And this is actually too thick for most applications, really. But for what we're using it here, I think it's great. Now we can add our cheese. And when I add the cheese, it's going to turn from bechamel to the Mornay. That a lot of cooks like to use that terminology because it's kind of fun. And so now it's the cheese sauce. And that's looking pretty good. And we can actually take that right off the heat.
Oh, wow. So that's your cheese sauce.
That's our cheese sauce. And actually, I'm going to add your favorite hot sauce in there is good. The hot sauce is good because it actually acts more like a vinegar than it does to make it spicy. It's just like in anything. but this sauce really likes, because it's so rich. You need to have a little bit of something in there to kind of lighten it up. And then the other thing you can use is a little nutmeg. Nutmeg is classic with the bechamel. So anytime you have a bechamel, if you want to use nutmeg, don't be shy.
I would have never thought putting the two together.
This press smells pretty good too.
It does.
Now, I want to say our kind of cornmeal polenta is good. It's looking thick. If I tasted it right now, I think it would taste smooth. And it would taste really under-seasoned because there's no salt in there. And I like to add the salt right at the end here. Mm-hmm. So when you're cooking grits and stuff, I don't know why, but if you add the salt at the beginning, it's going to take it longer to cook, I think.
Really?
That's the word on the street. So you can add the salt right towards the end. I think it's true. I've tried it a few times. And I think it's true. Some of this kitchen myths I don't necessarily buy into, but this one I'm going with. And then, so now that this is nice and thick, which is good because our polenta here, or our grits, are still a little not quite as thick as we want them to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm really happy that our cheese sauce is nice and thick. So it'll help to kind of thicken it up. And I think in this case there is a such thing as too much cheese. As weird as that sounds. And the guy who does the C&D mill kind of pointed it out to me. He said he doesn't like too much cheese in his grits. Because he likes to be able to taste the extra
Absolutely.
grits.
It's I was gonna say cheese does come first, but in cheese grits. But too much of a good thing is not necessarily a good thing.
Right. All right, so our grits are boiling. One thing I can do here, since we're using polenta, is cheat a little bit. And this stuff cooks so fast, you can actually just thicken it up just like that. Doing that with grits wouldn't. But I guess if you had some grits that were too loose, you potentially could add some cornmeal to it to thicken it up in a pinch.
And so we're getting close to being finished. Is that correct, or is that?
I'd say it's done.
Oh wow!
I'd say it's done.
So just a few minutes. I mean, we're talking maybe 10 minutes at home. You can make this. But if you want a 5-hour cheese grits, you're going to go to Kingfisher. And they're at 1500 Barrancas Avenue. It's the old Slips building. They've remodeled, and it looks fantastic inside. Chef Brian and his wife Amanda have done a great job. They're open on Mondays through Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and on Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 10, all day long. Make sure to follow them online. They have social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Kingfisher. You have special items on the menu all the time, special events, live music, you have extended hours. It's really an interactive place to follow, and it's something always interesting. And you can also find them online at kingfishersandwiches.com. Again, this is one part of a trilogy, so that's cheese grits from Kingfisher. Make sure to watch the other episodes. Chef Brian, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And make sure you stick around and watch the other episodes of Coastal Cooking Presents Quick Bites.
This has been Coastal Cooking Quick Bites, brought to you by Pensacola Energy.
That's all we have for this episode of City Roundup. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you same place, same time next week.
This has been City Roundup with Saida Rosa. City Roundup is the City of Pensacola's one-stop shop for everything having to do with Pensacola. Join us again each Friday at 8 a.m. for more of City Roundup.